You know, I think we should start the episode today with a toast.
Okay, sure.
Bonk.
A toast to what? You're supposed to say a toast.
Oh.
We cheers, but you said a toast, so you're...
Oh.
This is a toast. Da 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 da. You know, you say the words.
Oh.
The speech.
Well, I was just gonna say both of us are trying something a little bit different. Well, I mean, you did the iced coffee last time, but I'm trying the black coffee game.
A black coffee game, hot brewed game. I brewed Zach's coffee. Again, I am getting into coffee slowly, just giving it a shot. You know. What do you think, Zach?
I like it a lot.
Do
it's
you?
Very good.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
This is the first time I attempted hot coffee, which in theory is no different. It just is no ice. But here's the reason why it scared me, is because I've tried so hard to do iced coffee.
Yeah.
And every single time it just didn't work. Like you can't just brew, like you can't just slam a Keurig and then get coffee and then put ice in it. It doesn't work.
It's weird how it doesn't work.
It's weird how it doesn't. Well, it's because of that blooming process, that thing I did in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where the concentrated coffee happens, which is where that the ice is able to kind of do this thing with its ice. To my understanding, that is.
Right.
But what a Keurig does, to my understanding, is basically the second step, where it's just pour water.
Right.
And then it just sifts through without any concentration.
I hope you guys are sipping on some coffee with us. Welcome.
Coffee, tea, whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the Uneducation Station. Of course, my name's Zach. I'm here with Arthur.
Hello, gamers.
Gamers.
Yeah,
I love the chill vibes. Honestly, the more that we've gotten used to being at this set, or at least the way that it's set up right now, the more things have kind of like mellowed out, you know? And dude, we're getting close to the big hundo.
We are getting close to the hundo. We're at 98 right now. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's scary because it's coming up, but at the same time, because it's weekly, it's technically not. It's gonna take like at least another month.
Well, it's gonna be like 2 weeks after this is posted.
Yes, which is true, because right now we're speedrunning episodes. Because, okay, the time scale is really weird because we're slamming a bunch of episodes right now. And but then there will be a point, there will be like a week period or week and a half period where we don't shoot.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. It was kind of like, I'm so used to like, oh yeah, you know, this episode's going up next week, whatever. But no, this episode's not going up next week.
No, it's not. It's going up in 2 weeks, Zach. So technically, in this at current day, it's gonna be about a month. So yeah, but at the same time, we get a little mini break.
That's true.
Because,
it's gonna be weird.
Like, I know sound or not sound. Why did I say sound? Timelines are weird, but in theory, with the way that I have it set up, as long as we're able to record the next episode tomorrow, we're gonna have a week and a half break. And episode 97, 98, 99 will go up, and then the next episode we shoot after I go to the Philippines is 100.
That's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be pretty cool. So we get a little break in between to kind of psych ourselves up.
So, do you want to talk about like ideas that we've had for episode 100, or should we just keep it a secret and then just go for it?
No, we can talk. I mean, we just want to stream it, right?
Yeah,
that's a big idea, and with this everything that we've been doing up until now has been leading up to the point that we can stream it, such as working on OBS for live camera changing and making and not having to process or edit the videos. So ideally, this is as perfect as it gets. The only way it can get better is if we get some damn denoising. And so I can sync out the AC. But I can't do that. One thing I was thinking about was running it through a DAW.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure you can have a live filter into an audio source. I think that's how that works. Or maybe it's only applied. I don't know. The problem I'm having right now, this is going to be nerd talk that nobody cares about. But I'm going to say it anyways because it's frustrating me. Again, I'm trying free software, and that's the worst. You know, obviously, if I maybe had some paid options, maybe better. But there's a software I use called Burtom. It's a free software, and it's pretty good, honestly, for what it does, for free software. I've used it for my streaming setup, and it's killed a lot of sound. It doesn't really quite remove it. The way I use it is just minimize the sound, and it does a really good job at it, and it's free. The problem is it is a VST, but I don't know why it doesn't work I think because OBS uses VST2 or something like that, and it's so confusing, but OBS doesn't recognize it as a VST. VST, meaning, I don't remember the acronym for it, but it's basically an effect, an audio effect, right? EQ is technically a VST. Compression is technically a VST.
So
A plugin, if you will.
right. So you use Streamlabs for
No.
No?
No, I'm not lame. I use OBS Studio.
Oh.
JK. But yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I use Streamlabs.
Yeah, I know 'cause you're lame.
You know what, Arthur?
Get fucked, Jess.
Get fucked.
Get fucked.
Well, what I was gonna say is, it might be easier to kind of mess with live EQ and that kind of stuff on Streamlabs, but also that would mean that we would have to.
Now, why would that be the case, Zach?
Well, I mean, now that you're making me explain it, now I'm starting to think that it sounds kind of stupid.
Do you know OBS? I don't know about Streamlabs. OBS Studio has its own 3-band equalizer.
Oh, I did not know that.
As of like recently, like literally like an update just recently. Otherwise, you can just get like oh goodness, what are they called? Oh, it's Reaper or something like that. It's a free VST suite with EQ, compression, noise gate, all of that, super bare bones, but it just works pretty well, and people usually do that to process their audio for streaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because streaming, funny enough, actually, well, I'll say this just for now. For streaming, usually, you know, streamers, they want that really processed radio compressed audio, you know, and to be fair, I enjoy that as well. But lately, I've been not using EQ on my microphone. Just been running it raw with just well, I have to have a high pass or a low cut, obviously, for 60 hertz, because you got to do that, because there's no point in having that extra frequency because the human voice doesn't go that low. And then you throw in the compression, because if you don't, then your stream is going to suck because it's always peaking. And if you're not going to do compression, at the very least, God, please put a limiter.
Oh my God, dude.
Please put a limiter. Come on, guys.
So
I would rather do a compressor, specifically just because it's more of a decibel ratio threshold rather than just, it can't surpass -6 or 9 decibels. The reason why that doesn't work is that only stops digital clipping, not analog clipping.
right.
Compression doesn't either, but at the very least, compression works on a ratio, like a decibel to the whole number ratio type vibe.
Dude, it's so funny because when I started streaming, I had this POS toner mic, and I feel like you remember just how garbage that thing sounded.
No, it wasn't that bad.
It
For what it was, for $20, Zach, I mean, can you do better now? Sure. But for $20, I didn't think it was that bad.
$35.
I think it was about $35. Now for $35, or rather, I mentioned it before, the mono mic for $50.
Yeah.
But for $50, you get the microphone with a shock mount, with a mic arm.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I mean, you would have gotten a mic arm anyways for your toner mic, so that would have been $50 anyways. Plus a phantom power supply, or a God help you if you use one of those things, but probably you should have rather done a interface, which adds up another $100, or you get that mono mic for it's a USB mic, so it's $50. You're ready to go,
Dude, it's so funny when I first bought the AT2020 and I was using the audio box. I was still using that old boom arm, or like the mic arm that I got with the toner mic.
Mm-hmm. It came with a boom arm.
Yeah.
It did? Okay, maybe it was better. Oh, but then again, yeah, then you have to buy an interface.
Right.
So
Yeah. So I was just using this janky ass arm, like it was like to the same caliber as the one that is just standing up that has nothing on it off camera.
Oh, that? That's
Yeah.
$20. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't.
I use that mic for my AT2020, so who the fuck cares? Zach, if you have $100 to spend on a microphone, you're not buying one of
Right.
your mic stand, if you're on a budget, should not cost more than your microphone.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
Like, there's absolutely zero reason for you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, it serves a utilitarian purpose. If you want to look good, then do other things to make it look good. Hide your cable better.
Right.
Have the arm position so it's less in your frame. Things like that. That will teach you better, more practical skills.
You say that, and then I check and make sure that my cable is being hidden.
Yes, exactly. Hide your cable. This, I said it before, this is bullshit. I hate this. You see this exposed cable?
Yeah.
Or the wraparound? I hate the wrapper. I don't mind it if it's like in the wrapped around right here, like in the front, because what that does, it's just help for kinking in case you want to do this, move your mic around,
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of what's the word? Slack, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And this is bad because I have it like really tight right here, but I like the way it looks, so I do that. There you go. That's simple. But the funny thing is, that's not even anything anybody's ever told me. It's just an idea that ran across my mind. There are mic arms. This is a weird topic we're going to. But it's pet peeves. Let's talk about pet peeves.
Oh boy, here we go.
So finally, an episode where we can get angry. Good. Lately, we've been so happy. We're so happy, Zach. We're so happy.
No,
fuck. Life, the world is not great because we live in a world where people have their XLR cables and USB cables like this, or like this, like wrapped around. Like, this is ugly as shit. I don't care. I like the way XLR cables look because it's like thick gauge and shit. You know, it looks nice. It's not like a really thin, flaccid USB cable, sure, but it would just be better if you just hide it like this. Or if you get like cable ties or zip ties that come with your literally anything you buy from Jeff Bezos. Not even that. Little twist ties.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Literally those. Everybody. I have a bag of them. I keep those things. I was talking with my buddy Eric, who I built the computer for just recently, and we literally he said it himself. He's like, I love these things. I just keep them around. I'm like, good. You should, because they're nice. You don't need to spend like $20 or $10 for a pack of cable ties. You have them.
They're around.
It's on your carpet.
It is in a corner somewhere that you did not realize from 2009.
When you buy new tech, keep those things. There's always twist tie. Keep them. And then you do this shit. Like these are like stand clips that came with. I ended up buying more. Just because it was gonna work out that way. But that's a different case scenario. I have a bag of it's full.
Oh, I know.
Twist ties, cable ties, zip ties, bow ties, neckties. Tyler.
There's just a guy in there.
You guys,
let me out,
please. How am I even in the Ziploc bag? So yes, that's a tip for you guys who
being
are
bound by twist ties.
Fine. This is a good thing to talk about because I was talking about redoing the setup here.
Yeah.
Because not that I did, like I've said it so many. I love the way our like this current studio looks right now. It's so much better than what it was before. So much better than it was before. It's more open. It feels like a solid place where everything kind of has a home, right?
Right.
And that's with the restrictions of not being able to mount things or like drill through the wall and paint.
Right.
I can do that, but I don't want to do that. So that's with considering those restrictions, I feel like this is really nice. But the problem now I'm facing is that I'm focusing too much on tech, and this is the gamer side of me. Like the gamer, what is the game? You go on YouTube and you look at cool setup ideas or whatever, and it's literally like, or you imagine the gamer setup, right? RGB strips on everything just to add illumination. No, I'm tired of that. Now the more homey feel, a modern look,
Yeah.
with like the plants and the light foliage, open window, blinds, a lamp for ambient lighting, things like that. That's what I've been enjoying recently. And the problem is, I said it before in another podcast episode, I'm not an interior designer. Don't turn that on. I turned that off specifically.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry.
You're like, don't do that.
Don't do that, Zach. And the reason is because I just wanted a little bit more darker tone. Because your set is always too bright compared to mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's the little things that can make the biggest difference, and that's one of the things that I've noticed a lot, especially as the set has evolved. It's like, we're still using the same lights, the same cameras. Like a lot of things have not changed in that regard. It's just how we're using them has changed, and I definitely agree that we could kind of go past the like gamer RGB, like, all
Yeah,
the stuff that's behind me.
Yeah, it's too crowded. I'm not an interior. I am not an interior designer. Like, it's just
Right.
like, if anything, I would need to hit up some friends who may be interior designers that I don't know of, but perhaps I could find some
Right.
who took that angle, and or just it has a better eye for it than me, because some people just do, whether they're an interior designer or not. Like my mom, for example.
Yeah.
But there is just it's this specific video. Oh goodness, I'm going to find it because it's a video, like, I just watched it this morning.
Oh.
And it was the video. I looked at it and I was like, I can do better. I can do better. Let me find it. It is by a channel I watched recently where about getting into cameras and cinematography, Potato Jet.
Oh.
Potato Jet building this YouTube set from an ordinary bedroom studio tour. Classic title, right?
Yeah.
But it's so smart. He wanted to make a window, so he used like TVs to make like this artificial window. Using a bunch of, like, it's kind of funny because he's a cinematographer and stuff, so he has C-stands and tripods, so he uses those to mount plants and stuff, and shelves, and make a more roomy, cozy feeling. And not that this is cozy, but everywhere I look, it's something kind of exists, and I don't know how much I enjoy that. I want there to be more order and more, not necessarily order. I want there to be, I just want it to be less busy. In every single corner of this room, it's busy. Which, I mean, there was that thing I said where everything needs to have a home. Everything does have a home. Mm-hmm. The problem is the home is scattered around everywhere. So does that mean I need more shelving? Do I need to, what is it that I need to do? I need to figure that out. But mainly what I want to do is rearrange the room in a way that we're not leveraging tech too much, not leveraging electricity and that too much. I want to leverage practicality. Mm-hmm. So finding ways to minimize shadows in our shoot, finding ways to add more depth, because this bookshelf, although it's nice and blown out, it's right behind me.
Right.
The only reason why it's blown out is because we have a nice lens that you've offered. That's it. But as far as like depth, the depth is gone. Mm-hmm. Compared to your set, where you actually have distance between your background.
Right.
Things like that. How can I figure that out? That's basically what I've learned that I want to start moving forward for the look that I want. Like right now for my gaming setup, right? I mean, it looks cool and the camera looks cool and all, but I just have like a bunch of slathered posters just on this wall. Mm-hmm. And that was also a thing where I realized as soon as I did it, I thought it was a cool idea, and then I looked at the camera and I'm like, it is way too busy.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. And as much as I love those posters, it's just way too much going on.
So I think a challenge that I found, especially with like this set and like being in this space and kind of having to stay within the confines of this space, is finding a way to produce depth without just sitting in the middle of the room. Like being able to set something up to the point where like I'm not just sitting in the middle of the room. Like that definitely makes it a little bit tricky, because I mean, you're sitting in front of a shelf, and it's like, I wish you could be, like 2 or 3 feet further forward, if not more than that, so you could have that depth. But also the way that we have it set up, you would literally be sitting in front of my camera.
Yeah, your camera is right here.
Right.
That's rough.
Yeah.
I am in a box that I cannot move forward from. And I keep needing to move my mic stand back because it starts to clip into it. So it's like, it's tough. These things are tough. But also it's just constraints. It's a weird L-shaped room, so it's kind of difficult, but it's possible.
Right.
And if there's anything that I learned from Feng Shui guy on TikTok, is that anything is possible. You can create space in a small ass room.
Feng Shui guy.
It's Feng Shui guy. No, it's literally that's what they call him. And that's what he calls himself. Yeah, it's just the guy.
Just the guy.
It's literally just one guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's probably multiple, but this is the one that keeps getting recommended to me. Not on TikTok, but YouTube Shorts, but he's on TikTok as well. Mm-hmm. It's just like, hey, Feng Shui guy, help me out. And then he goes, okay. And then he sounds super Asian, right? And he talks about the whole Feng Shui thing. And Feng Shui It's really funny because the idea that we have growing up here in the West, especially in the past, was feng shui was some sort of silly thing that made no sense. Like in sitcoms, it was joked about, right? I remember that specifically. Like, you remember Good Luck Charlie?
Yes.
Right. There was this one scene. For no reason why this stuck out to me. I just thought it was silly. There's no criticism for it. I have no particular feeling about it. I just remember it for some reason. Maybe it's because they said funny Asian word, and I was like, that's cool. But the mom was like, she rearranged her living room, and it looked really fucking stupid. And she said, oh, it's some of a feng shui vibe. Or something like that, right? And for some reason, I remember this.
Are we going to end up on, like, beanbag chairs? And
No. See, that's funny because that's what you think it means.
Yeah.
We think it's something fucking stupid. But it's actually like a thing.
But it's a thing.
It's a interior layout design idea. I mean, it has to do with energy and chi and shit. So that's where it gets really silly. But when you look at it, like after you get past that and you look at what that means practically, it makes sense. Like why you shouldn't have your bed feet right in front, like against the door or whatever, and where your couches should be, and where couches and bookshelves should be aligned, so that way you move energy around. Or like energy it's when we say energy, that's when it gets cringe.
Right.
But when you think about the way it works, instead of saying energy, say the flow of how one person would walk into a room.
Yeah.
Where bookshelves and couches would be aligned, so that way their attention is drawn to certain places to create the illusion of a bigger room.
I think we've definitely done that with the way that it's set up right now. Like, you know, when we had the desk and everything like that.
Yeah, well, that's because we just got rid of the fucking desk that was sitting right here. This isn't feng shui.
Yeah, that's fair.
The chi, Zach, that comes through this door. I mean, it kind of, because of the way the room works, it kind of circulates this way, so it works out. But I mean, I don't know feng shui. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that there is definitely the reason why I bring that example is because there is a way. No matter what, there is a way.
If there's a will, there's a way.
If there's a will, there's a way. So we can change this room. But because we've been considering a new house, and I'm getting a full-time, or I'm looking for a full-time work, so that way I can help, pay for the house or move out, and all these things, right? Because of that, I don't want to do too much to this room without, the potentiality of we could maybe move into a house this year.
Yeah.
Like maybe. Again, we would really have to talk about it, and I would need to secure a job, you would need to secure a job, which you're closer to it than I am right now. But if we both secure a job, then maybe we can start, we can really start to plan it out. Things like this, right? Mm-hmm. Which we're not really sure yet, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've wanted to do for a while. Mm-hmm. And, trying to get everyone kind of coordinated with it has been like herding cats. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't been working out very well. But I think especially if we can get that sorted, then that would just kind of be like, it would be like the Wild West. We would just have endless opportunity to be able to do what we want with the space to a certain extent, because, we're going to be renting. But,
if you rent, are you able to paint the walls?
I think so. I'm not 100% certain. I would definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, I would. I mean, maybe it depends on the what would you call them? Landlord?
Yeah, landlord. Right. Yeah.
I guess it would depend, right?
Yeah. And also, I mean, it would be really funny if we just had a green wall that was just specifically designed for a green screen. Yeah.
That would be really funny. It would look ugly as fuck, though. It wouldn't be in my room.
No, it would not.
Yeah, I mean, because I think about how I would, if we were to get a house, how we would lay it out. I don't want it, first of all, I don't want it to look like a stereotypical, there's 3 dudes living in a house.
Right.
Immediately. I don't want it to be like garbage everywhere and like no wall decor or anything, and it's just like a couch and a TV and then this blank shit, and then we'll just put this thing up here and that's about it, Mm-hmm. I don't want it to, but at the same time, I also don't want to try that hard. But again, there is or also spend that much money.
Yeah.
But I know there's always a way. You just have to think about what you have, because again, another video which has nothing to do with it, but I brought it up before, where I don't know if I brought it up on this video, but I know we talked about it, where there was there's a channel, this food channel, where it's like pro chef with like $13 pad thai versus home cook with $300 pad thai or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's like my favorite part of it is literally just seeing, not necessarily, well, okay, there's two elements to it. One is a home cook with a bunch of ingredients and learning new things and learning how so many ingredients can change the way something simple like pad thai can be.
Mm-hmm.
But what's more interesting to me is the problem solving that a pro chef has to do to make $13 pad thai really good.
Right.
You know? And things like that. And not just pad thai, but, you know, whatever food that would be.
What's really cool is you can apply that to anything, really.
Exactly.
And, like, dude, oh my gosh. Legit, last night, I was watching a video where a guy made a Gatorade commercial.
Oh, I watched that exact same video.
Using a Canon T2i.
Yes.
That came out in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he was talking all about, like, using, like, fog and different lighting techniques because, you know, the dynamic range of that camera is not super great. And so you need to, like, figure out a way to get that cinematic look without it being too dark.
Mm-hmm.
And just that idea of, like, just problem solving to the extent of, like, you know, use what you got and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, dude, all things considered, I think we've done a really good job of, like, making it work with the space that we have and, like, the gear that we have.
I do too, but it still screams amateur to me. And that's also
fair.
just a thing where I'm being hard on myself as a human being. But I know that there's more that can be done. But I would have to put the work in, and I would need that free time of literally, like, no computer, because my computer would be unplugged, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm moving shit around, and I would have to plan it out, you know? Ideally, slam a 3D model. I can't do that, but that would be really cool, you know? And so I can really dial in measurements, like, and all that type of stuff.
Bro, you and I both need to get into, like, working in Blender and stuff. And, like, Cinema 4D.
I know I should, but it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not good at that stuff.
I mean, I'm not either, but it would be an interesting little learning experience to just kind of, like...
We'll go for it, Zach, because in my mind, right?
Yeah.
Making a 3D scene and environment is similar, is a similar idea of, like, a sandbox photography.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So that'd be totally up your alley. You'd be like, I have a shot in my head that would look cool. I'm going to make it.
Well, what's interesting is, I mean, I'm sure you've watched a bunch of Corridor crew videos and everything like that. They can use, like, perspective and camera movements and everything like that in a 3D rendered animation and, like, make it so that you're basically building it like it's a shot that you're trying to shoot with a camera, you know, like you're mapping out the camera movements, you're mapping out what's going to be in frame, what's in the background, you know, what's off in the wings that's going to come into frame at a certain point. It's kind of like, it's like you're making a short film, but you're creating all of the different assets that you're using. And that's really fascinating. That's one of the reasons why I've kind of wanted to dabble in it, but also it's really fucking hard. Yeah,
I know. But it also takes a certain understanding. And it's an understanding that I don't have, which is creating things out of thin air.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I've never been good at that. It's why I'm never, like, a leader or anything for a COD team or whatever. Just creating based off of, like, a recruitment or subjugation an idea. That's not the right word, but I'm going to use that word. It sounded cool. For me, it's having the tools available and using those.
Yeah. Honors English 2?
Honors English 2. I'm, like, 99% sure that was not the right word. But with the confidence, it sounded right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounded like it was the right word.
You know, if you say it with the right confidence, like, superfluous.
Well, that just sounds fucking stupid.
Well, it's a word.
A subjugated. sounded really good with that tone.
That's fair.
So I noticed how I had 3 things listed, and I used subjugated in the middle of them. So I had a real word, subjugated, another real word, or a real word. So I hid that really fucking weird word in the middle.
Anyway, so
that's not even Honest English 2. That's just me learning about communication.
that's me being really bad at speaking my native language, but figuring out ways to make it sound like I'm way smarter than I actually am.
I told you, I am a presenter.
I feel that. But yeah, on a similar note, it's really cool thinking about the fact that like you and I can be working on the same project and we could be looking at it from 2 entirely different perspectives. And like, you know, like you were saying, it's hard for you to kind of create something out of thin air and just kind of be able to apply that like, oh, I have this idea in my head. It sounds really fucking crazy, but I'm going to see if I can make it work. Like just having that like out of thin air, just like, fuck it. And then just like doing shit like that. My undiagnosed ADHD works very well for that specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm not very good at like the practicality of it, but just coming up with stupid shit or like coming up with new ideas and like things like that. You know, that's definitely something that I'm good at. And you are really good at like the organization, the practicality, the way to make it so that we go from like having an idea to having a final product that actually fucking makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the reason why you're an editor and you do all that kind of stuff. Like you're really good at putting things together and like making it cohesive. Am I talking out of my ass?
No, you're right. You're right. Just on paper, yeah, you're right.
But like that's what makes us a good...
Well, that's how I work, right?
Yeah.
I work with practicality. I work not like for example, like I mentioned with coding, I hate coding.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you're good at coding, but what I'm saying is that if you and I were working on a project of which consisted of coding, you would code, and I would tell you what to code.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, assuming that you and I have a bigger knowledge of coding.
Right. Which I don't.
Which I don't either. But that's how that would work.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting because like the more you think about it, the more you kind of realize like, oh yeah, you know, the fact that something like this came together and you and I working on it for, you know, the last year, almost wait, we started in 2021. First episode.
This show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
First episode came out the day before my 21st birthday. So we've been working on this show for 2.5 years, or a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 2 years. That's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we only have less than 100 episodes out.
Well, if it's a weekly basis...
There's only 52 weeks in a year, so...
Yeah, so that makes sense. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Well, no, it's crazy to think that, like, you know, I don't know why, but like my brain sits here, like the way that my brain wraps around it, it's like I feel like there should be way more episodes by now.
No,
but like,
fair. But it's like again, we're shooting 3 episodes like immediately, and that's going to fill up like 3. That's going to fill 3 weeks.
Right.
So that's about almost 2 weeks of not shooting.
Yeah.
So you got, and that's a month. We're basically shooting for a month. And I don't. And when you think about it like that, then you're like, okay. Yeah, not a lot of episodes happen in a month, technically. There's only 3 episodes that happen in a month, 3 to 4. So, yeah.
That's true, yeah.
So.
That's weird.
Don't think of it in a macro. Or a macro. Think of it in a micro. Micro level.
That's fair. It's been really fun, though.
It has been really fun.
You know, the things that I've learned, like both of us have learned throughout all of this, and I know we're getting sappy and introspective, but it's fine. Everything's fine. It's really cool seeing how much you and I have both learned about pre-production, production, post-production, everything like that. And you more so than I have gone down this like audio rabbit hole where you got more into like headphones and microphones and everything like that. And that's like your own personal interest in all that kind of stuff has added fuel to the fire when it comes to this show. Cause like, I would have never thought to use a SM57 as a podcast mic.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, there's a lot of better microphones too that we could use, but it's like it's more of an idea of I got into mics because of this. I was already interested in microphones, but that was more of just a fever dream of, man, I wish I had this or I wish I had that. But now that we need 4 microphones of a specific quality set. So originally it was the Zoom's DMs. We need a dynamic microphone. It needs to be kind of with a broadcast type of EQing, whatever that means. That's subjective, but something that's able to produce a nice warm. Excuse me, that was gross. A warm and inviting sound and more soothing sound rather than something that is more emphasized and vocal rather.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say, but it's one of those things that makes sense as you do it. So that forced me to get into more audio. It's like this whole podcast thing that we've been doing has taught me just literally everything that doesn't have to do with podcasting.
That's true.
It's taught me about cameras, taught me about audio, both engineering and hardware as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's taught me about design, backing design, hiding your fucking wire, things like this, right? Where I want to hide as much things as possible, but also show something. It's taught me a lot of extra things that I wouldn't have thought about, which is great.
It is really fun. Just thinking about where you and I were at when the show first started and now. And like a lot of it has to do with like we look at it a lot more seriously now than we did when we first started. It was kind of like that level of uncertainty where it was like, I really hope this ends up panning out the way that you and I want it to. But like we weren't really sure what that would entail. And then we just kind of dove in head first and had some bumps along the road. Mm-hmm. And, now we're getting close to 100 episodes, which is fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm. So it's great.
It's a great time.
It's a great time. Anyway, so let's talk about something that isn't boring.
Sorry about that.
What are some pet peeves you have, Zach?
Oh, pet peeves. All right.
Whether it's super small or really big, whether it's about life or literally something that bothers you every single day on a micro level. I'll start first. One thing that bothers me is that I can feel my tongue moving around in my mouth and I can feel my face. No, I'm just kidding.
Why would you say that?
You are blinking now. You are breathing now.
Are one of your shoes too tight?
Ooh, your toes are touching. Your toes are touching. Your socks are a little too warm.
My socks are always a little too warm.
Oh man, I forgot what my real pet peeve was. So what did I say? I said before visual things such as hiding your cables and things. Mm-hmm. I said it before, but the YouTuber voice or the TikTok voice.
What's going on, everybody? Today we're gonna be.
I hate that. Oh my god, talk normally. Like honestly, what if I meet a real person and they speak to me like that? I'm slapping them across the face, passively, and then I'm walking away. I don't care if you're my friend. What's good, Anuki? How are you doing?
I'm over enunciating.
I think what bothers me even more? It's the hand gestures, but I do a lot of hand gestures as well. But there's a YouTuber hand gesture because I do a lot when I speak.
Right.
But this is kind of like normal human being hand gestures, like this one specifically, where you're like holding on to like two udders like really big or some shit like that, right? But the one I'm talking about is this or this. Like, what the fuck is what is this? What's good, y'all? Do you realize that people are speaking in a tempo? Nobody really speaks like that, at all.
Speaking in a tempo, like a very emphasized tempo where they're not really.
Oh, it's so.
And they're emphasizing every single.
You're
beat
a
of it.
human being. Did you learn to speak? Like It's so silly. This is so silly. I know this sounds really weird because it sounds like I'm flaming certain people. It's not that I'm flaming certain people. I'm flaming a culture that has been built over years and years and years.
Arthur, we're YouTubers.
We are YouTubers, and I've probably done that as well. But the problem is that like I remember when I made my New Year's video. This is me tooting my own horn. I'm sorry, this is gonna sound fucking pretentious, but or even in general when I did streams and when I did my live videos and stuff. A lot of people, one compliment I get is that I have a nice voice in general. Does that mean I have a nice deep voice, a soothing voice, a sexy voice, or whatever that may be? What I consider it to be is just my speech pattern.
Yeah.
Because I stutter a lot. And that's something I'm trying to get over in general, but it's more of a sense that like it's because I speak really fast. And I'm trying to get over that because I speak really fast sometimes and I realize that a lot of it doesn't get passed through the microphone. And it also, whenever I speak really fast, it doesn't go through my brain really fast. Or it's going through my brain, but it doesn't go through my mouth really fast. So I have to stop and think about it. But I've recently, again, shorts. Again, I got into this. Oh God, I would have to find him again. I don't know if he'll pop up, but he's like a motivational speaker, and he talks. It's really interesting. He talks about your voice being an instrument, and comparing it to a musical piece where you speak in what is it, legato?
Yeah.
Versus staccato.
Yeah. So
when you're stringing and you're kind of layering and stringing words together, and then when there's kind of like not really too important things, then you can kind of it's hard to speed it up because this is kind of how normal people are going to talk, and depending on the way that you can smooth your voice through a sentence is kind of it's in a way it's kind of like the way that you would kind of move notes through a musical sheet.
Right, or playing notes and chords on a piano, like everything being connected to one another, and even if you have to take a quick break, then you're still able to kind of get back into that rhythm.
But it's moving back from one to the other, from legato to staccato.
Yeah.
Am I saying the right one, legato?
Yeah.
Okay. There's all fucking French, Italian words or whatever the fuck. I have no clue. I keep forgetting, but
I think it's Italian. I don't know.
It's me.
It's me, legato. And my brother, staccato.
But it's that idea where you kind of go fast and go slow. And when I know some people, they're like, I love the way you speak. And I know that I hate saying that because it sounds like I'm sucking my own cock, but that's not what I mean. This is things I hear, right? Mm-hmm. And I think about why that is. And all I do, literally the only thing the only reason why I've came to this conclusion is because I hear the way I speak, whether it be in a stream or in this podcast setting or in a video I would record like on camera or something. Mm-hmm. And I take that compared to my own friends' YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. Literally my own mutuals' videos.
My YouTube videos.
No, not my videos.
No,
your videos.
Yeah.
Well, you don't talk. Well, I mean, maybe. Well, it's been a while since you did a story time video, so you were probably succumbed to that YouTube voice too.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't done like an actual story time video since probably 2018.
Right. So you should do another one, but don't even be conscious about the way you. Well, I mean, you have to be conscious in some sort of way, right? But just speak normally into a camera because that's just what you normally are invited to hear. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, there's ways to sound profound,
Right.
Kind of be a little slower and use a lower tone of voice so that way you can, and especially really focus on that legato where you can take a pause and kind of really focus on certain emphases that you would use, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you could speak like a normal fucking human being. Well, it's really funny. My buddy Stelany, who I can't even believe he's my buddy because I looked up to him one time. He mentioned on the video that I said about the New Year's stuff, and he was like, the parasocial relationship is really weird because it's all that it is. I'm speaking as if we're both in the same room.
Yeah,
I'm speaking to you as if you're on the couch in front of me, mm-hmm. which we don't have a camera set up for yet. But that's literally all it is. Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking to you as if I'm speaking into a camera reading a script. I'm speaking to you.
Right.
And
dude,
it's so cool though. It's simple. I'm just speaking like if you find me in a normal setting, I would speak the exact same way. There is one thing. I mean, unless you have a YouTube persona, you know, because some people they have like a persona, right? And that's fine. That's you know that's what their channel is built around or something like that. But if you don't have that persona and you're trying to be yourself, and your YouTube channel is your first and your last name, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing a YouTube channel and you're playing yourself. Who should that person be, Zach?
Fucking you.
It should be you.
But the interesting dilemma, though.
What is the dilemma, Zach?
The interesting dilemma is...
Show me your devil's avocado right now. What is it? What is it?
Devil's nicotado avocado.
Devil's nicotine. Wait.
Where's the nicotine? What the fuck? The hard thing is that, you know, it's like when you're trying to act normal on stage. It's like it seems completely fucking alien to you. So when you're in a situation where you're trying to act like yourself and trying to be yourself and everything like that, you know, there's always going to be some small thing that's going to be slightly embellished.
No, I understand, because no normal person commentates to themselves.
Right.
I understand that.
Or, you know, the conversations that you and I have on a day-to-day basis, regardless of if we're recording or not, they're equally as unhinged, but also I'm sure that there's that subconscious idea that both of us kind of realize, like, oh, okay, you know, this is going on YouTube and all of that kind of stuff.
I think all you need to do, and this is a very, very basic communication exercise, is record a conversation of you talking to you or something. Like record, whether it be scripted or not. Let's just say it's scripted for this scenario, so that way it makes it easier. Well, maybe not necessarily your answers, but at least the questions. Record you interviewing yourself. So you speak, you say blah, 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 blah. You introduce yourself, pause, and then you say and then you continue the conversation, you say a question or something, and you pause. You know, and you do this, right, back and forth. And then you take that recording, and you play it back to yourself. And then you play it back to yourself, you record yourself answering to yourself.
Right.
And you listen to that. Do I sound like a fucking robot?
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is a very basic communication exercise. I went to school for I took classes for it technically. So and it was one of my favorite classes. And it's a very basic exercise to hear what you sound like to a camera.
Right.
Or to a microphone, because no normal person commentates to themselves. No normal person speaks to themselves unless they're psychopathic or schizophrenic.
Or they're YouTubers.
Or they're YouTube.
I'm learning a lot about myself today.
No, but it's like, no, if you think of like self-monologuing, like who the fuck does that? Like maybe you do it in your, no, if you do it in your head, that's kind of, no, actually, I don't know. Sometimes
what are you, an anime protagonist?
Literally, right? So you got to think about that this scenario is unnatural already.
Right.
So you're throwing yourself right into the water, right into the deep end. So you're recording yourself talking to nobody, and then you're recording yourself answering yourself talking to nobody. So what does that do? That lets you hear how you sound like speaking to nobody. Hence, AKA a camera, speaking into a microphone to a camera.
Right.
It lets you hear a mistake that you make in your sentences, such as stuttering, such as maybe sibilances.
Oh, I hate sibilances.
Focusing on those things, or maybe being too loud in the beginning, because one thing about voice, like speaking in general, is that the first word you say is always the loudest part, and then it decays. So if I see that, as soon as I start a sentence, it's the loudest part and it goes down. So you try and find a way to kind of have a less harsh way to do it, more of a hump rather than a slope.
Yeah.
Things like that. Things that don't make sense too much, but it should make sense if you're trying to make a career out of this, because your career is speaking to a microphone. So you should at least sound like, you know, yourself, because what was one of the common YouTuber issue that we've heard is what wanting to be yourself in your channel.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
not trying to get away from this certain idea that your channel is and be yourself in your channel. But you speak like everybody else with the same YouTuber voice, you know. And again, is this me speaking to somebody? I don't know. Am I saying this to a friend right now that I know? Maybe. But maybe it's just I'm saying these because it's something I observe in a macro level. And if you feel some certain way about it, and it feels like I'm talking to you, then maybe there's some truth to, maybe I am talking to you. You know,
Right. That's the hardest part, is trying to walk the fine line between wanting it to be entertaining and wanting to be yourself. You know, it's like you have to find that middle ground somewhere. And I mean, you know, some of the best storytellers I've ever seen are just absolutely over dramatic, over the top, and then you know, they in their like IRL type stuff, they're just like super chill and whatever. But at the same time, you know, that fine line between like, oh, I just want to be myself.
if you talk like that, then you're not being yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, guys. What's good, YouTube? It's back. I know it's been a while. If you say that's another pet peeve I have. It's been a while. I know. I hate that. I say it too because I say it ironically on my streams because sometimes there's long breaks between my streams. So I know it's been a while, and I say it ironically because I hate that specifically. For me, it's like I would rather just jump right into it. Yeah. Because sure, it's been it's been a while. I don't need to tell you that. You know it's been a while. So let's think about it's almost like real-time scripting. Thinking like because as soon as you write a script for a video, whatever, just a script. No matter what, your first draft is always going to be shit.
Right.
No matter what, no matter how good you are, it's going to be garbage. You have to review it. You have to make revisions. I haven't made these videos yet because I'm procrastinating and I'm late. Well, not lazy, but I have too much on my plate right now. But I mentioned that I've been scripting a lot of videos for projects that I have.
Which they are fucking hilarious.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But I think they're hilarious as soon as I type them out. And then 2 days go by and I read it and I'm like, oh, okay, I can probably, change some things, or this isn't that funny. And then a week goes by and I'm like, okay, no, let me read it.
4 drafts later.
Zach.
Yeah.
The thing that we hated the most growing up, Zach. First, rough draft. Peer review. Final draft.
Yep.
Whoa, Zach. That was so fucking annoying. God, I just want to turn in my rough draft and get this damn C, please.
I didn't care that much.
Yes. But now you care.
Right.
Now you care because this is your baby. This is your video. This is your move, whatever it is, right? So you got to get that review with yourself, or even speak it out loud. Take your script, look at a mirror, or get your microphone and just say it. Not for the video. Just say it.
Right.
And then listen back to it, and you'd be like, yeah.
Yep, that's the thing.
I don't sound like a normal human being.
Yeah, that's one of the most interesting things, and that's what's making me want to start writing more scripted stuff and just doing it that way. Is I have a hard time sometimes just going along chronologically, especially if I'm telling a story that's like really chaotic. It's hard for me to have like an order of operations, and sometimes I'll have to go back and be like, okay, wait, I fucked up the timeline. Hang on.
Well, maybe that's where scripting can help, because scripting, you have the layout already. So now you have what you're going to say out of the way. So now you can focus on your cadences and your enunciation in your voice,
right,
where you want to rise and where you want to lower yourself, right? Because for me, when I hear your voice, I think of flat. The way you speak is flat. Whether that's good or bad, that's up for you to decide if that's how you want to sound, right? For your video. But the way you speak, especially in this podcast, and I know this satirically, no, not satirically, it's not the right word, but notice how I said it confidently and it sounded like it was right.
Right, yeah.
like literally objectively, is because I used to edit these and I would look at the waveforms.
Yeah.
And you're always on the same level the entire time.
You know,
Does that mean you need to speak better? Does that mean you need to have more ups and downs? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But that's something I've observed about your voice.
I think one of the things that I've done kind of subconsciously is I've always tried to keep it at the same volume. Whether or not the intensity changes, it's always kind of been like I'm trying to stay consistent regardless of how like energized I am or anything like that. Like, you know, I tried to keep it as close to the same volume as possible because especially when I'm talking with somebody else, it's one of those situations where I don't want to have to like make adjustments as we go along because I'm like freaking out and I'm like, oh my God.
Right,
you know,
right.
it's like a subconscious having a mic in front of my face type thing. Like I'm always trying to keep it kind of the same volume level so that I'm not having to adjust anything.
Well, this is where you need to trust in technology.
Right.
You need to trust in your compressor and your limiter. And then you need to focus on mic technique. Backing away from the microphone, or if I'm speaking right into the microphone, I want to get loud, I move away from the microphone a little bit, so that way I can have a little bit more range in my voice instead of having this boxed level voice. Not again, whether that's a good or a bad thing, that's for you to decide, Zach.
Right.
That's just something I've observed about your voice, at least in this podcast setting, and in real life.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I mean, there's no problem with wanting to be louder and right directly into the microphone. Because we have compression.
Right.
And a limiter.
You know, you made me realize something, actually.
See? And this is the point of peer review.
So, okay, here's the interesting thing.
If you want to say some shit about my voice, you can do that. I don't care. You're my friend. I'm not going to get butthurt because my own friend criticized my work. Yeah, how dare you? I thought you were my friend. You're supposed to support me and say good things and sugarcoat everything I do, even though it's shit.
Got him. But no, yeah, I think one of the main things I noticed is just the tempo fluctuation when you're talking, and that's something that you've already talked about, and that's a conversation that you and I have both had probably a handful of times, where it's like you have the stuff that you want to say, and so you just try to get it out like as fast as fucking possible. And I actually have that problem when I'm on stage, like performing and like doing scripted stuff on stage, where I just want to get all the words out because I know that the second I stop and think about it, that's when everything's gonna go to shit. But as far as me just kind of keeping the same like tonality and volume, I think that that's because my voice can be so fucking loud, and you know, I haven't really gotten used to the idea of having compression and having a limiter and being able to kind of go all wild and batshit.
Do you know what the purpose of the compressor limiter is?
Is so that you can do that.
Well, it's not that. The purpose in this setting, in a macro setting.
The purpose.
Did I say that?
No. You were about to though.
Oh, okay. The purpose is to replace the role of a sound engineer.
Yeah.
Because let's say, for example, in acting, in movies, it's a sound engineer's job to level the volumes and stuff. But even if I start talking more quieter and stuff, the compression is bringing me back up so that way I still have the same level.
Right.
So, but I still have the tonality if I'm going to speak quieter, right?
Yeah.
And the sound guy is just going to bump it up. That's their part. That's their role. Sound guy, well, you know, and do other things. I'm not simplifying sound engineer guy to a dial. You know, they have they have a hard job.
He's the beat maker of audio engineering.
But you know,
check me out.
Check. He's really good. Please watch the Camp Rock episode. That was so funny. That's one of my favorite episodes of all time. I literally lost myself in that episode. I had never laughed so hard.
Oh man.
But what I'm trying to say is, okay, for example, emotional scenes in movies.
Yeah.
And specifically emotional scenes where they get loud. Like there is one. Have you seen Wakanda Forever yet?
No.
Okay. There is a. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Don't worry. But there is a scene where the queen. It's in the trailer. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a scene where she says, "I." What did she say? I lost everything. Something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. I don't know. And she's screaming it. She's really loud and she's really emotional about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's screaming it.
Right.
And you can feel that change of dynamics from the beginning of that scene, where everything is really stern, but in a more moderate, lower setting, and then she stands up like a proud, powerful, individual woman, and she roars, and you feel that in the theater, in your headphones, whatever. You feel that, you know that,
Right.
and that transition from the dynamics in her voice reaches you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also speaking into a microphone,
Right.
technically. So it's more of just don't be afraid to leverage your vocal range. Basically, is not my advice to you. Is my advice to everybody.
Right. And I think
I love communication. I don't know if you can tell.
wow.
It's one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah. The idea of trusting your equipment to be able to do something for you so that you don't have to stress out about it as much is really, really interesting. And I mean, I'm so used to like having to be on my toes and be like, oh man, I need to make sure that my microphone isn't 20 fucking feet away. Oh my God, dude. I watch old clips of like my stream and all that kind of stuff, and seeing the fucking toner mic this fucking far away, and the keyboard was in between the mic and my face, and you could hear it. And I was on the fucking, where is it? The Logitech.
Yeah, the Logitech, the clicky blues. Oh yeah, we've all been there. It's okay. It's okay. We get better.
Yeah, but I guess I just kind of have that like subconscious fear of just absolutely fucking it up somehow.
Yeah.
And so the idea of just kind of allowing myself to let loose and trust the fact that it's not going to just absolutely blow the fuck out of everything, and use my big boy voice.
Use your big boy voice, Zach. Be proud. We are almost 100 episodes in, Zach. There's no need for you to be scared. Be happy.
How did this turn into a how to be YouTuber?
How to be YouTuber.
By YouTubers.
By
for
YouTubers.
YouTubers.
See, it's hard for me. They just turned on the dryer, so now we get a rumbly sound. Sick. So it's hard for me to give advice because I am not a big YouTuber.
Right.
I mean, I don't mean to speak for you, but for me, I am a small YouTuber. Even if you were to take account my edits, literally even those, I would still consider myself a small YouTuber. So when I remove those, my edits, and I just have my personal videos, I am an even smaller YouTuber. Right. So what is this little tiny voice going to mean to anybody? I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you that you are wrong. All I'm trying to say is that you live in a world where everybody is telling you that you are right.
Right.
And sometimes you need a devil's avocado. Devil advocate.
Advocado.
You need that guy to tell you that maybe you should try something else. Because it's not that it's not working, but you haven't heard this in your life. You're wondering there's something missing. What am I missing? No one's telling me what I'm missing. Because everybody is too afraid to tell you what you're missing. Your videos are great, man. Bam, bam. Cool.
That doesn't help.
That doesn't help nobody. I want someone to tell me that my edits are garbage. I want somebody to tell me that my streams are garbage. So that way I can figure out why it's garbage.
Right. Or even...
I mean, you're never going to please everybody.
Right.
But everybody's opinion, well, I mean, other than you suck, kill yourself, other than that, is constructive.
Don't do that.
Is constructive.
Yeah. Yeah. The idea that people are afraid to tell you something that you don't want to hear is just the absolute opposite of what you need to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you can admit that you're a pussy. It's all good.
Sure. Yeah, I guess so.
No, I mean, you're admitting you're a pussy if you're afraid to hear things you don't want to hear.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel you.
You're also a pussy, Zach. Get fucked. No.
You're like, go fuck yourself.
in the comment section.
I'm genuinely surprised, and I feel like it's gonna happen now that I've mentioned it. I'm surprised that there just hasn't been a bunch of like trolls in the comment section or anything like that. Like I expected it at the very beginning. I thought that there was gonna be like a whole lot of people being like, "This is dog shit," and I mean,
if you're gonna call it dog shit, at least tell me why it's dog shit. Is the audio dog shit?
right.
Is the visuals dog shit? Is the way I speak dog shit? Is the way Zach speaks dog shit? Is the way I look dog shit? I don't know. What's dog shit?
Yeah.
I can't say it's dog shit.
Am I bad at switching cameras? Maybe. But tell me.
Tell me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, there is, for me, like for you, for example, you look at the studio and you like it.
Yeah.
For me, I think something can be better. See those two different viewpoints?
Mm-hmm. So, interesting thing, it's also the fact that you're in here every single day.
Sure.
And I'm not. And so all of the little things that you see, you're going to have more of a keen eye to that thing.
Sure.
As opposed to me, where I'm here, 1, 2, 3 times a week, maybe.
Sure.
And so I'm in this room and I'm just like, oh yeah, we're just chilling like a villain, everything's great. But I don't see all of the little things that kind of rub you the wrong way.
Sure, but you're in a different seat. You know who does see everything is the audience, because they're backseat watching.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they are going to see things like let's say I'm a YouTuber that uploads every day. Let's say that, right? Let's create the scenario. And I upload every day in this room, and I do something in one, or sorry, not this room. I am a YouTuber who shoots everything in one room. And I've constructed this room, and I'm in this room every day, and I upload every day. So I see this room every day. My viewers see this room every day.
Right.
So I see some things, they see some things. I see things that they don't see, they see things I don't see.
Right.
And that's different from, let's say, person A or another person who is a guest that comes into my videos once a week.
Right.
Who they go in, they don't see too big of a problem. Because it's cool.
Oh, wow, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm. So there's that dynamic as well.
Right. It's very fascinating.
Is it also I'm thinking too much about it? Sure. But it's also really fun. So I don't mind. It's fun to think about it too much.
And it's also fun to think about how you can improve things.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you settle for something, then the fight's over basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have any opportunities to be able to grow or develop or change or anything like that. You're just kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You're stuck in one spot, and then that's just kind of the way it is. Whereas if you're looking for things to improve upon, and the fact that you and I can both speak candidly with one another and be like, hey, this is something that you and I could both do, or like what you could do or what I could do to potentially make it so that the quality of the things that we create together goes up, then I don't fucking care if it's not what I want to hear. Like I want to be able to improve, and I want to be able to make something better.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the hardest, another simple thing that I've noticed as an editor is one of the hardest things a content creator has to do is cope with the idea of not editing their own content anymore and giving it to an editor.
Yeah, fuck.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to depend on the scale of, it's going to depend on the scale of a YouTuber, because a lot of content editors end up just being editors now because everybody edits the same exact way. So just get it whoever you want. Haha. Anyways, but I mean, that's fine, because then you can get editors easily. So let's say, for example, you're an established YouTuber who's been doing YouTube for a very long time, and all you know is editing your own videos. You have your own style, and it's not the same exact stereotypical style, the same Mr. Beast. Everybody wants to be Mr. Beast style. It's your videos, right? And you've been editing these videos for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And now you have to decide if you want to get an editor. And the problem with breaking apart from you editing is that now you have to have your years and of understanding of your own channel.
And years.
Yes, of years, and you're giving it to someone else.
Right.
And yes, you're going to have to find the editor that's going to play the perfect role for that, for sure. But also you're going to have to trust that editor, first of all, you're going to have to trust, first, you're going to have to understand that there's going to be an initial learning curve where your editor adapts to you. Mm-hmm. Because an editor, there's even, for me, for example, I technically can edit to whatever. I can edit to whatever style that you need me to edit to, technically, as a video editor, because that's just kind of, that's what I do, right?
Right.
It's my thing. So I'm comfortable with doing that, but I have to understand and adapt first. Like, I could probably edit a video from, like, I could probably edit a video for a car YouTuber. I don't know fucking shit about cars, Zach. But all I have to do is watch their videos, ask them questions, understand what it is that they are looking for in a video, and there's going to be a period of time where you're going to notice that there is an editor change as the audience. Maybe you don't notice, and if you don't notice, I've done a good job.
Right.
If they do notice, everybody's got to understand I'm figuring it out just like you guys.
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out. Artists are figuring it out. Creators figuring it out. Creator is getting an editor for the first time. I am working on this creator for the first time. Audience is watching me make content for this creator for the first time. Mm-hmm. It's everybody's first times right now. First time's never good, Zach. Well, at least for this content. So you have to understand.
That means two things.
So you have to understand that there's going to be a big learning curve until we figure out that thing. But everything will it will stabilize.
Right.
We will get to a point where I get this car YouTuber's shit. And I don't know shit about cars. There's some, I'm pretty sure, like for example, like Linus Tech Tips, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have an editing team.
Yeah.
Most of them don't know shit about tech.
But they know how to edit.
But they know how to edit.
And it's that line of communication, that open line of like, hey, so this is my idea on how I would want to go about doing this. Like, would this kind of mesh with the things that you've done in the past? Mm-hmm. And having that trust between an editor and a creator. And I mean, even between like a filmer and a content creator. Mm-hmm. Like, when I film videos for you, like, you have to trust the fact that I'm going to do my job and I'm going to actually like do the shit that I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
And then on the other side of it, I have to trust the fact that you're going to take the footage that I filmed and put it together in a way that
you don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. And make it so that all of the things that I filmed are being utilized to like, tell all of the storytelling things that I envisioned when I was filming it.
I mean, you still have a say as the content creator.
Right.
Like no matter, you're still my boss technically in this scenario. You are still my boss.
Right.
So you're going to peer review. You are going to give me something. I'm going to spit a rough draft at you.
Yeah.
The only thing is, this is YouTube, so now you can say, yeah, this is good. Just upload it, and that just be the final draft. Or you can give me notes back. That's how the industry works, Zach. You give me notes back and say, okay, this should be a little different. Maybe you should add this, do this differently. And even if that's not what I want, you are still my boss, and you are the director of this. And I can still say, I still think you should do this instead. But it's that communication that's important.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation. It's not, you suck, no, you suck, no, you suck, no, you suck. It's not that. That's what it sounds like. But when you're an actual professional and you don't get butthurt, like you're a kindergartner, then there's a conversation to be had to make better content.
Right.
It's Phil Basic. It's how movies are made. It's how TVs are made. It's how everything is made. There's a team. There's a conversation to be had. It's not fuck you, no fuck you, no fuck you. I mean, maybe it is. And if that's the case, then God bless those workers. But in a healthy environment,
in a healthy, constructive work environment,
that's how that would go.
Yeah.
So if I take a video, and I'm an established content creator. I get a video. And let's say I have an editor, and I get an editor, he edits my video, I like it. I'm going to show it to someone else and see what they think. Mm-hmm. And then they go, oh, it's pretty good. Or let's say even this, all right? This is a good example from William Osman, who's a great YouTuber.
I love his stuff.
Fantastic. I've been recently listening to his podcast, The Safe Ether. It's hilarious. And he mentioned one thing where he was like, when he makes videos, he'll show it to someone. I can't remember who he said, whether it's his wife or his friend or whatever it is. And, stereotypical friend's not going to tell you what's wrong with it or whatever.
Yeah.
But what they will do is they'll watch it, and their eyes will wander off when they're bored, or they'll look down at or want to look at their phone or something like that. Things like that. And then that's what he pays attention to. So, okay, this part is boring. Let me change it, or this and that, right?
That's such a good idea. Holy shit. I didn't even think of that.
Unless you give it to me, because then I'm going to tell you, okay, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. This shit,
Yeah, but
this garbage. This was pretty good, though.
For the people the uninitiated who are only consumers of content and not necessarily people who make content themselves. I feel like those are the best people to show those types of videos to, or like to show a rough draft to and do the William Osmond thing where they're just looking for that nonverbal communication of like, oh, this is fucking boring, or like, I'm super fascinated, like edge of my seat, like I'm interested to see what's going on. That's such a fucking good idea. God, I should do that with my own YouTube
Peer
channel.
review.
Never mind.
Don't do it, Zach.
We might get sued.
It's something we all know and learned and hated, but now when it's come to something that it's our baby now, it's something that we care about now, you got to do the things.
Right.
You got to let someone shit on your baby, metaphorically.
I was about to say, I don't think that's how that works.
You got to have someone shit on your baby, Zach.
Feces on forehead.
Do it!
They'll never learn.
They won't know the hardships of life.
Oh, man.
So, don't be afraid to make content. I don't know where I was going with that.
Don't be afraid to poop on a baby.
Don't be don't metaphorically.
Yeah, with words.
Like if I'm babysitting and this baby shows me a picture, look at this. I'm like, dude, that's fucking shit, dude. Come on, do better.
Do better.
Do better. Maybe I wouldn't say it like that, but I'll be like, what the hell is that? I mean, oh, cool. That's a portrait of me, right? No, it's a dog. Oh, or that's a cool looking gorilla. It's me. Well, listen here, kid. You drew a fucking gorilla, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna go back to the table, you're gonna look in the mirror, and you're gonna try again.
Gorilla man.
Gorilla man.
Fucking 3 years old. Just like.
Now I'm joking. I wouldn't do that directly, but that idea I would do.
Yeah, you would have to, tone it down just a little bit.
Just a little bit. The dial is gonna tone down a little bit.
Yeah. So that you're not just like, bro, this is fucking garbage. To like a 6-year-old child, and they just look at you and they're like.
Yes, and that's right. And you should feel bad. No, I wouldn't do that. But what I would do is I would be, well, I mean, I'm joking. If it was a child like that, I would just let them explore whatever, right? But they should know things that are bad, such as stovetop's hot.
Yeah, one of the things that my parents did, and I mean...
They made you touch the stove.
They're like, don't do that. And then I do it anyways. And they're like, did it hurt when you did that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, are you going to do it again? No. Okay, good. Exactly. Listen to me next time.
Right. Like they did, in that scenario, they did absolutely nothing wrong. They literally told you to not do it. And that's all you have to do. Don't put a damn cage there.
Right.
If there's this, again, for fucking YouTube short, fucking hell, dude. But at least these YouTube shorts are insightful. It's not some dumb shit. But there was one from good old Neil deGrasse Tyson. You may have even seen this one because it's just a popular clip in general where it was talking about raising a child. And what?
Oh, sorry. My brain just went to a really funny Neil deGrasse Tyson meme, but I'll let you get that out first.
Okay, cool. So he was just talking about how the exploration period works for a child, such that you have a cup of water, and the child goes to grab it and like fucking swat it off the table or something, because that's what kids do.
They throw shit.
They throw shit. They smack shit or whatever, and it's a glass water. A glass of water. It hits the ground and it shatters everywhere. Maybe the baby fucking steps on it. I don't know.
And fucking dies.
Fucking dies. No, maybe not dies, but, you know, it cries and it hurts and you get foot surgery. Dumbass kid. No, but you told the baby not to do it, right?
Yeah.
Listen. Garage is opening right now. Listen. Don't do that, because you smack the cup, it's going to shatter and break. But most parents, what are they going to do? They're going to see their baby reach for the cup, and be like, no. Bad.
You got to be okay with making mistakes, dude.
Don't do that. I still love you. Dad, I'm 16.
But father, I love him.
No, it's like they're not going to understand. I mean, obviously, that's dangerous. That no fucking shit.
Right.
But as a parent, you should know what you should allow your kids to experience.
Right.
Because that exploration period in their childhood is going to mean so much more than when they're older, and that exploration period, it still exists, but that crucial learning period when they're really young and they're absorbing so much.
I mean, you think about the time in your life where you learned the most. It was when you were falling down, hurting yourself. And I mean, you know, it sounds like we had really irresponsible parents that just didn't give a shit. That's not true, because they allowed us to go out and learn things and explore the world and figure out what our own personal boundaries are. And if you allow yourself to do that, even as an adult, you know, you'll end up going so much further than you think you will. Mm-hmm. And that idea of just like coddling yourself and not allowing yourself to get hurt, it's like, you know, what are you going to learn from that? And also, random side note, by the way, the Neil deGrasse Tyson meme I was thinking of was a meow.
The fuck was that? We just do to me. What was that? Was that a meme? I haven't seen this meme.
It's the meme. The
meow. I haven't seen. Well, maybe I have. I don't know.
I don't know. There's one video in particular that I thought of that I'll send to you.
Okay. But yeah, he just mentioned that, and obviously that's a bad thing for a kid to smack a glass of water. But you know, they're just not going to learn otherwise.
Right.
One time, right? I remember this, and I've never admitted to it, but I was a child.
No way.
And I know, right? Crazy. And I was at my uncle's house, and he had a glass chessboard.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. And as a child, I looked at it and I'm like, I'm going to play pretend. Because in this day and age, I don't have a phone. So I'm going to play pretend.
You're like, I'm not scrolling on fucking Twitter, dog.
So I'm pretending the horses and the bishops are fighting each other or whatever, and they're doing cool fucking wrestler moves and shit. And then I do a really crazy move, and one of the pieces shatter.
Raggy.
Yeah, and I go, and then I cry, you know, because I'm sad. I don't want to get in trouble and stuff, you know. And that taught me that glass is fragile.
Glass is glass.
Glass is glass. It will break, and it'll be scary
and loud
and maybe painful. I didn't get hurt from it. But if I did, that would have taught me that as well. But luckily, I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, okay, it's pretty sharp. It probably hurt me too. And that experience to this day, I remember it. I literally remember it like so vividly because it was such an important experience to me. Mm-hmm. As a kid, it's one of my earliest experiences. My first time shattering glass.
I had a similar experience when I fell out of a tree.
Oh yeah, that'll do it, Zach.
So story time. So there are a bunch of giant ass trees in my neighborhood.
Sure.
And you know, I was a little monkey child. I would go out and climb trees and whatnot. And then I ended up getting to like way too high. And keep in mind, you know, this tree is like 30, 40 feet tall. Fucking chunky.
That's a tree. Oh boy.
That's a tree.
That
it's
up
a
there.
Giant fucking evergreen tree.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
And so, you know, when you're at the top, it's basically swaying back and forth and it feels like you're going to die. And basically I ended up stepping on a branch that I thought could hold my weight. And, you know, granted, I was like 70 pounds, but it did not hold my weight. And then I plummeted. So luckily I didn't fall like outside of the branches. I was like, you know, getting just fucking pinballed and mollywopped on the way down. And I was probably 10 feet off the ground and my foot ended up catching on a branch and I didn't end up like falling that far. But then of course my foot slipped and I fell like 10 feet and I ate shit. I heights are bad. If you fall from high height, you get big hurt. Do I still do crazy shit with heights to this day? Yes.
I mean, yeah, I also still, like, you know, played around and shit, kept playing pretend and things. One time I threw myself into a glass table. It didn't shatter, but God, that fucking hurt.
Well, no shit, it hurt. It was glass.
To this day, I'm surprised it didn't shatter. I remember this. I may have been, I'm pretty sure I was older at this point now. Not that much older, but this was after the whole glass shattering incident,
right.
Which is why I got I was afraid that, how did that glass not shatter? Because I understood the concept of glass shattering. But anyways, I was playing pretend, you know, as a kid does without a phone. And I was, I don't know, doing Power Ranger shit or whatever, you know?
Go Power Ranger.
Exactly, right? And I was probably fighting some imaginary bad guy or whatever.
Right.
And I was on the couch. This is at my grandparents' old house. I was on the couch, and I got hit or whatever by the bad guy, and I fucking threw myself in the air, and I landed on the glass coffee table. And I hit it, and I bounced off, and I hit the ground. Oh my goodness, Zach, that fucking shit hurt.
Bro, it's bad when you bounce.
Yeah. And you don't shatter it. So that means you didn't go through it. I mean, you just went,
Yep.
If I was still an old person, I would be like, my back, you know. I literally landed on my back.
Yeah.
Like, that's how crazy this bad guy hit was. I was on my feet, and you know.
Dude.
And it was one of those, like those twirl hits, too. Like, I was on my feet, and it went, you know, like that. It was, like, that bad guy was tough.
Oh, I had been thrown onto like a hardwood wooden coffee table a couple of times, actually. Surprisingly, it didn't break. And this was when we were super into like the WWE and all that kind of stuff. And so basically what ended up happening was I was expecting the table to break and it didn't. And so, you know, I just got like picked up and just slammed as hard as my teenage brother could. Yeah. And I just laid there. I was like
and I just
breath completely gone. You know, I thought I broke a rib or some shit. Yeah, it was a bad time. And I mean,
and then you learned, they probably have breakaway tables.
Or at least like the plastic ones, like the folding tables.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I still hurt.
Yeah, but probably not nearly as bad.
I think it would hurt more than the table breaking as you're going through it, because it's a breakaway and it's scored. So scoring mean like they chip away at it, so that way it essentially folds. Like, for example, you know, like like stools, like in like old Chinese Jackie Chan movies or whatever. They smack someone with a stool. What they would do is they would saw the stool legs so that they're basically ready to snap. So, and then it would shatter. So, I mean, it still fucking hurt because it's a stool. It's it's a stool.
Yeah,
but it would break as it's making contact.
The way that this is an interesting tangent, but I'll just say a thing and then we can go back. The way that I think about it is it would. Like, if it was not a breakaway table, it would kind of slow down a little bit of your momentum.
Yeah.
So the fall potentially could not hurt as bad. I mean, I'm sure breaking a table with your fucking back is not fun.
Well, yeah, but if it's already broken and is ready to snap, then your energy is going to go right through it.
Into the ground.
Well, I mean, otherwise it goes right onto the table. But instead, it goes through it. Kinetic energy, Zach, goes from you to the table to the air.
Right.
Versus you to the table. And the table reserves that energy and bounces it back into your fucking spine.
Anyways, that was a weird tangent we just went on.
Well, I mean, that's what we were talking about. I don't know. What were we talking about?
Oh, allowing kids to get hurt.
Oh, so we're still talking about it.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, have breakaway tables in case your kids break them. Don't throw themselves on the tables.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like the more you allow yourself to do dumb shit and take risks, the more the greater understanding you'll have on the risks of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just go through life without a care in the world and, you know, you're never worried about hurting yourself because you've never gotten your shit rocked before, you know, it's like you'll have that thing happen and it'll just completely catch you off guard. And you're like, oh, that's a thing. That is a pain I've never felt before.
Yes, exactly. So when I come at you with some criticism about your edit or a video, don't take it to heart. I'm just helping because you asked for it.
You literally asked
You
for it.
literally came to me and asked how you felt about this edit. I told you what I felt. Don't fucking block me.
You want my opinion? Are you sure?
Literally asked for my opinion, word for word. Can I get your ops on this edit? It's the same damn thing. And I gave you them. I don't know what you want me to do, man. That was sick. You may as well play. You may as well buy a plane ticket for me to go over and suck your cock, because that's what you want me to do. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna snip it off.
Get a second circumcision.
I'm gonna take the skin and glue it back and then rip it off again,
Like a Band-Aid.
like a Band-Aid, because that's what you need right now. Like if I go on my Discord, Uwu Chat, you can do bit.ly/Uwu Chat, you can find it. And then you will go and find my AV club, my audio-visual club, not adult video, but audio-visual. And it's my editing club, basically. And there I give free ops to it, because I don't do it on Twitter anymore, because that's where the Twitter people are. Like they ask for ops, I give them ops, and they say, okay, cool, and they never talk to me again, or they block me or whatever. And I'm like, okay, no, this helped fucking nobody, and I bet you my advice didn't help you because you probably ignored it. So with this extra step, it tells me that you really want my ops, because you went into my Discord channel. You have to get a role selected, so you go into this club select, or go to the role selector, react to a certain message, you get the AV club role, you go to the AV club. You know, it's a whole process.
Right.
So if you're willing to do that for my ops, I will give it to you. And I will give you paragraphs. I don't know if you've ever seen that club, but I will give you paragraphs back on how I feel about this edit you linked, because you deserve that.
Right.
That's what you want from me. So I'm going to give that to you. And every single time, I have no problem with doing it, and they have no problem with receiving it, because they know that that's what they're in for, going this far into it. And I'm gonna do that every single time. I mean, I can't guarantee every single time, because it's after a certain point, like if it's the same person. I'm not that I don't want them to keep doing it, but there's only so much I could say after a while. Yeah. And there's a lot of energy into typing paragraphs, but I'll do my best. I'll say what I can.
You're like, I really don't want to write like a 5-page essay.
I mean, it's like it's a whole session.
Yeah,
essentially. So, if I will never say, "Hey, that's pretty good job," I will never do that.
Right.
But I'll also, I can't guarantee an extensive, detailed thing every single time. But I'll do my best. But that's basically my example of that, where, hey, I'm going to let you know things that I would personally change.
Right.
Do you have to change it? I don't know. That's up to you. These are just things that I noticed in reference to things that I've learned.
Right.
Such as, like I just said, with your voice, right? These are the things that I have noticed in your tonality of your voice in this podcast, in reference to what I have learned and what I know about things.
Yeah.
Right? So you can take with that information what you will.
And it's the same thing with whatever you're trying to get someone else's opinion or guidance on. It's like, if you ask me about like photo man things, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. I'm gonna give you as much information as I can, because I want you to be better. And I mean, I'm sure that's the same way that you feel about giving your opinions to everybody and anybody in the Discord. It's like, you just want everyone to be better off, and you end up having this arsenal of information that's super specialized. And so, like, you know, if I was to go and ask for your opinion about videos I've made or like edits or anything like that, then like, I respect your opinion, so I want to hear it. I want to hear the criticism. I want to hear how I can improve and better the things that I'm creating. And like, we've had that conversation. We've had it many times about many different things. And it's just a level of mutual respect, you know? Like, appreciate you taking the time to look through the things that I create and genuinely try to help me improve.
Wonderful.
Magical.
Magical. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't know. I felt like I felt like being in an instructor mood. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of like giving not a lesson, but just a food for thought. Because it's food for thought that I've been considering recently.
Right.
Such that when I'm thinking about the setup and stuff. So, you know, I felt like that. So I'm glad. Hopefully that helped. For the people that are listening. And if it didn't help, it's all good. Just take whatever you want to take from it. But yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate you all. You can go ahead and like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And our links in the description. You guys know the deal. Check out the last episode. And yeah, that's all I have to say. What about you, Zach?
I think if anything, this video was designed to make it so that if you want to get into content creation or you want to get into doing all that stuff, putting yourself out there, you know, random little things to consider in your journey. And, you know, I'm going to do nothing but encourage people to try that kind of stuff. And, yeah, that video that we did with the Camp Rock and all of that kind of stuff,
yeah.
let's put that one there. And then,
okay.
you know, let's throw a YouTube recommendation.
Oh, okay. So fuck the episode that I said that was the previous one. We'll do what Zach said, though.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I get it.
But that was the last
You're just being
episode.
constructive, Zach. I get it. The Camp Rock episode, Zach? You know, this is 98, right?
Yeah.
The last episode is what we recorded yesterday, not Camp Rock.
Oh, shit. I love you guys. I'm sorry.
Children.